Hello, and welcome to the latest edition of the Excellence Through Execution podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jason Weseman, and today I am thrilled to be joined by Michael Cherney, co founder and CEO of Cooler Logistics out of Chicago. Michael, thank you so much for joining us today.
Jason, thank you for having me. It is a pleasure.
This is going to be great. I'm very excited to learn about you and your background and your organization. If you don't mind, why don't you kick us off with a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
I'm Michael Cherney. I'm from the Midwest, Chicagoland area. My second job out of college was in the logistics space, and I was number seven at this company called Load Delivered Logistics. I was owned by Robert Nathan and John Michael. And from there, I was a big component of their growth. I led their expansion west to Los Angeles, opened up their LA office, and I helped them lead to a place of expansion and acquisition by a company called Capstone Logistics in 2018. While I was in Los Angeles, I got a master's of global supply chain management at USC's Marshall School of Business. And a couple of years ago, I moved back to the Chicagoland area. 15 months ago, my business partner, John Michael, and I, who was one of the founders of Load Delivered, decided to kick off and start our own business, Cooler Logistics. So here we are. It's been a whirlwind first 15 months, all good things, your standard startup challenges, but we are in a great place and we're really closing out the year very strong.
So 15 months, huh?
Yeah, September, and maybe the number's wrong, but September 1st, 2023, we opened the doors.
So tell me about the logistics business. What's a day in the life of Michael?
Well, day in the life, it's less about me and it's more about our people. And our people are there to really serve our customers and our carriers. So we have a variety of loads that we have from food and beverage manufacturers, which is really our specialty. Okay. They either manufacture, distribute product, bottles of water, chicken, frozen seafood, shrimp, lobster tails, crab. We have chocolate, and they're making it in some place and they got to get it to where it's being sold. So we'll have these orders from point A to point B. One side of our business is tasked with going and finding trucks that are in that position that we agree upon a rate to perform the service to move the load of chocolate or with the goods from point A to point B. And we do that over and over and over again. You know, it's interesting. The dynamic of this business has evolved. It was very prevalent that there was a lot of spotlight on our business during the pandemic.
Sure.
Everyone knows those experiences of waiting in the line for the grocery store, seeing the shelves rather empty. And it kind of shone light into what this business was. And it used to be thankless. No one really thought about how product got to the shelves. They walk into a store, they buy it. They don't think anything of it in terms of how it got there. But we're a critical part of everyone's day to day. And I think that's one of the cool.
So a company comes to you and says, I need to get my crabs to Boston.
Jason, I wish it was that easy. We definitely have to do our legwork and sell our services and sell our value prop. And one of the things that really sets us apart, so we identified that there were two key things that were happening in the logistics space. One, there was an over-reliance on what they call public load boards to cover customer freight.
Okay.
And then two, there was a departure from the focus on building relationships on the carrier side of things, the trucks. And those kind of go hand in hand. With those public load boards, that's more of a transactional relationship between broker, logistics company, and carrier, all focused on servicing the customer. It doesn't take a lot of skill to post a load and wait for a phone call, right? So our thesis was we're not using those. And since we've opened the doors, we've never posted any of our available loads on public load boards. We focused on building relationships with our carrier partners to ensure that, one, we can get really good service and we get the best rates. And when we are putting trucks on our customer freight, we know we've done our due diligence with these carriers. We worked with them before. They've passed our compliance process. We fully vetted them. We understand what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, so that we can really provide the best service and experience for our customer and our carrier. And so far, it's been pretty good.
So when you go out and sell a load, you have good service ready for them.
Yeah, no, it's twofold sales. So we are selling to manufacturers, distributors. We're saying we can provide you a service unlike anything else. We don't rely on load boards. We are human first, relationship focused, and we'll get your product from point A to point B on time, in full. And if anything happens, because there's a lot of elements and factors that are out of our control, you'll know from us right away. We're not going to BS you. You're going to hear exactly what our solution is, what the problem is, and you'll never have to worry that it's not going to be taken care of. And then on the flip side, when we sell the load to the carrier, it's got to be a load that's going to take them to a place where they need to go, or there's a good opportunity to earn more money coming back. If a carrier never goes to Los Angeles, he's not going to take a load to Los Angeles. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. So there's two different types of sales that go on in our business. One may be considered harder than the other, the business acquisition one, because it's a very, very red ocean. There's a ton of competition. Our business is quite commoditized. There's a lot of use of AI and all this other stuff. And that's why it's important that we're really focused on the relationship and keeping that human at the forefront of what we do.
That was actually going to be my next question. How much does AI impact or do you use in your business?
Right now, very little. We use it for pricing alone. So we partnered with this company called greenscreens.ai, and they aggregate all of our load cost data, and they're able to tell us today what our expected cost could be comparative to the market. And that's the extent. However, AI is becoming a hot, buzzword within our industry.
Sure.
Employ AI to do more with less. A lot of people are using AI to schedule appointments, which can be rather operationally exhaustive. It's also
pain in the ass.
a big pain in the butt. It really is. It's super inconvenient. It's kind of the minutia, but it's a necessary evil. Good appointments can lead to an easy selling of the load or a tough selling of the load, and it can impact cost. So there's importance, like there's a nuance to it. People are also using AI to actually answer phone calls and negotiate with trucks. More prevalent on the when I post a load type of business, because you post a load, then there's all these phone calls coming in. Instead of having a human answer the phone, they have this robot. And there are some that are doing very, very well. We're not deploying that yet, especially because of our emphasis on that human relationship, that human touch. And I think people are also using AI within the warehouses. People are using AI within sourcing and purchasing new POs and understanding inventory levels and things of that nature. It's still rather new. We're kind of watching and waiting at this point.
I think that's kind of true about every industry. Is just kind of how much we have to use this. Let's focus a little bit on you. 15 months ago, you started this company. What inspired you to start your own business? What was the spark that said, you know what, I need to do my own thing?
It was really my business partner, John Michael. He was part of the load delivered company before. And when that company was acquired, he had a 5-year non-compete. And we had stayed in touch, and he had talked about possibly doing this again and repaying the people that helped get load delivered to where it was to the point of acquisition. And when his non-compete was up, the talks really kind of picked up. And I had been at the company Load Delivered, then turned into Capstone, for over 15 years.
Yeah.
I was maybe ready for a change. And I had done everything from, I built I built a joint venture with a produce company. I created their managed trans product. I ran their LA office. Then I became kind of a whale hunter. I was enterprise sales. I had really done a lot of things there. And I had reached a point where I felt like my cup wasn't full, and I needed a challenge. And this opportunity presented it, where John and I could begin this company, and I would be the CEO. And it was something I wasn't sure that I was ready to do, to be honest. I had never been in this position before, and I was just ready for that leap. I wanted something different. On top of that, I just got married. I was hoping to have a baby, and I wanted to do something and kind of like put my flag in the ground and say, I have something I could really be proud of and build for my family. And they, right now, my wife and my 8-month baby girl and my dog, are the driving force for everything that I do. It's really something when you go for so long, and I'm later in life. I'm 39. Relatively later.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're so
but I
old,
got
man.
married. I got married at 38, 37, 38. So it's from going for a big portion of my life without that, and now having this as a driving force. It's something I never even expected. On top of that, being a CEO, first-time CEO, and working with my team has been one of the more satisfying and gratifying experiences I could have ever imagined.
So married, baby, and CEO within 2 years. Tell me about that jump. You said you didn't know if you were ready for it to be the CEO. Nobody's ready to be a parent, obviously, but the CEO piece. Tell me about, how did you deal with, holy shit, I'm in charge?
In stride. I was fortunate enough that John just had brought in this an executive coach. He is a consultant. His name's Stefan Teodosic, Maverick Consulting, and he has from the beginning really worked with me hand in hand. I meet with him every Friday. He's met with our leadership team. He's met with our floor numerous times. He comes in every Friday, and working with him has really helped me get where I needed to go in a much shorter period of time. The
Yeah.
challenges that we've had over these last 15, 16 months are standard startup challenges, but because of our work with Stefan, we've been able to overcome them in such a swift manner that they were more speed bumps, than any big wall or challenges. We were able to break through every single challenge in such a way that it almost didn't feel like a challenge. But
Wow.
every adversity that we did face has helped get us to where we are at this point. And I just rolled out our 2025 strategy to our floor, and to think and to talk and reflect about where we were January and to where we are now. It's been such a cool alchemy to watch, and it's just been great. Sometimes I still do have some imposter syndrome, but
Sure. Don't we all?
my co-founder John has given me the autonomy and the full vote of confidence and trust to do what I need to do. And on top of that, he's built a really strong team. We have a good executive team, and we as a group have trust that I haven't experienced really anywhere else. We can be vulnerable, we can challenge each other, healthy conflict, all the things that you would need for a strong team. It's
Yeah.
all present, and it's helped me feel like I belong, on
Yeah.
top of the results that we're getting. And each of them have given me great feedback in our 360 reviews, and there's no time to doubt. Onward and upward and to the moon we go.
Let's go. Love it. So you became a CEO 15 months ago. What are some of the common misconceptions that people have about running a business, besides the fact that you're automatically a millionaire?
Well, that might be the first misconception.
Yes.
But I'm not sure what other people think. I'll just say this: I know that it's hard work,
Yeah.
and being in this position doesn't mean you kick your feet up and that you've made it. It means you have to work harder. It means that you have to set your people up even more than you ever think. You have to over communicate. You have to over prepare. You have to rely on others more than you want to. I think if you want to succeed as a CEO or a leader in anywhere, you have to realize that there's so much that you don't know, and that your team is going to be the direct force of your success or not. I'd say those are probably the biggest ones.
It's interesting you say that because as a CEO, you only have success through people, through your people. And some people think it's top down, but it's really bottom up.
Mm,
You talked about your wife, your new kid. Congratulations, by the way.
thank
How do
you.
you maintain a good work-life balance? How do are there things that you do to maintain a great level life?
It's interesting. I heard in one of your previous ones, you talked about life work balance. So, balance is one of our core values. We have Klein pasted all across our office: collaboration, leadership, integrity, metrics, and balance. And it's all about that balance. It's important that while we work hard, and work is important and critical, and what we do is important, it's still important to be relevant and present for your family.
Yeah.
I'm a man of routine. I'm at the gym every morning. I'm up at 4:15. I'm at the gym by 5:20. I work out. I hit the cold plunge for 4 minutes, sauna for 20, and then I get to the office. But I make sure I do that in the morning so that I can, when I'm done with work and when my work is done, I can go home and spend my time with my wife and my baby, and I get
Sure.
time with them. Because if I didn't, and we have, relatively long hours in this business, but if I didn't do that workout in the morning, I'd never see that. If I don't work out, or if I don't do that morning routine, my day's a little off. My mind's not there. So that really is it. And I make it an appointment. Like, it's no matter how late I go to bed, I'm up at the same time and I am there. I leave the gym and I get to the office and I'm ready to win the day.
Nice. Even when the Bears play Monday Night Football, you still get up
Oh,
at 4:15?
even then, I can't fall asleep because I think about all the bad things. But such a sad time in Chicago sports. But yes,
It's literally unbelievable how bad all of our teams are, but we'll worry about that another
there's
day.
only one direction we can go though, and that's
Yeah,
up.
that's right. You can only go up, but the Bears still won't, by the way. But they'll find a way to mess it up. So we kind of talked about the past. How about the future? Can you offer us a glimpse into your future plans and goals for you and your company?
So our plan, we have within our strategy, we're forecasted a 3.5x what we did in the first full calendar year in 2024.
Love it.
Are looking to add 2 new experienced business sales managers, business development managers, so just salespeople, and we are really kind of building upon our new business acquisition strategy and our growth strategy. And there's real no secret sauce, but we're going to continue to support our people in doing what they need to do. We're rolling out a professional development plan where we're actually going to be engaging and coaching our people on a weekly basis to help them get where we want them to go professionally, personally, so that we can hit the goals that we need to. It's
Yeah.
just having these numbers doesn't do anything. We have to have our people in a way prepared and capable to do that. So we're ready to get our hands dirty and do that as well. We are continuing to focus on the food and beverage space. One of our biggest strengths is the trade show circuit. We do so well face to face, in person, in real life, comparative to just picking up a phone. And we found such great success in our first year doing trade shows, or at least walking the trade show floors and engaging with people and building connection, real connection from there.
Sure.
So we're going to continue to do that. And this is my first ever podcast, so maybe I'll continue to do these and kind of try to build the brand. But we're not reinventing the wheel. We just want to continue to work really, really hard, support our people in doing that, and make sure that they have a good environment to do what we need them to do.
Sure. Well, you're a natural at the podcast game. You talk to the people. That's what this is all about. Well, this has been awesome, man. Let me get you out of here on this. Take yourself back to when you started your company. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who are about to take that step or thinking about it?
Two things. You know less than you think you know.
Yes.
And I would say that your financial forecast needs to be very realistic.
Yeah.
You're going to put something out there, have a real clear understanding of how you're going to get there and why. Don't put yourself at a disadvantage because you overshot in your first year.
Yeah.
Better to be undershot and work and over, under promise, over perform. But I would say those two things. And then lastly, I would say make sure you surround yourself with really good people that are probably smarter than you, and at least one person that's going to challenge you in everything that you do.
You have that?
I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't always land well, but I have someone who, when everyone else in the room is saying yes, they're saying, but wait, let's talk about this. And honestly, if we didn't have that, I don't know where we would be. I don't know where I would be. That's my chief operating officer, Lee Barnard. She's great.
How does she approach that, and how do you deal with that kind of conflict?
So like I said, we have all trust. There's healthy conflict. She says, well, what's the real purpose for this? Why are we doing this? What are we trying to get out of it? And sometimes we get caught up in these really fun ideas and think that we're going to have these things, but we don't have the nuts and bolts kind of figured out. So her questions, while sometimes land kind of prickly, like there's really good meaning to it. So we'll kind of navigate those questions. Like, well, what do you mean? Tell me more about that. Like, what are you trying to get at? What's your perspective relative to ours? And then we end up coming to a common ground as a group, and everyone feels like they've been heard, and we have clear vision of what we're trying to do.
That's
but
awesome.
She's great. Honestly, I can't speak her praises enough. Without her, I don't know where I would be, and I don't know where this company would be. It's always important that you have that one person that will challenge the group.
For sure. Yeah. People are your number one asset. It's the only thing you really can't. It's the only competitive advantage you have is people.
Totally. Absolutely.
All right. Well, this has been awesome, Michael. Thank you so much for your time today. It was really great meeting you and hearing your story.
Jason, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Well, that wraps up this episode of Excellence Through Execution. Thank you all for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.